Good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to ZenCha Tea Salon for this very special event, A Cup of Tea for Appreciation. My name is Huang. I'm one of the co-founders of ZenCha Tea Salon and also my partner for this event this time. My name is Eagle. We are here to send our most gracious appreciation having your presence over here today. Many of you may be wondering why we are having this event, and particularly titled A Cup of Tea for Appreciation. When my partner Nemi approached us talking about this concept, we had the intention to introduce the very beautiful part of the Japanese culture, which are ikebana, chanoyu, and also the koto music, and introducing to the public. Of course, many of you know ZenCha Tea Salon has the mission to promote international tea arts that enhance cultural commonality, health awareness, and also the quality leisure. However, this event means a lot, carry a little bit different meaning for us, because first and foremost, I think during the earlier tsunami incident, the Japanese community received a lot of great support from the American public, and we want to take this opportunity to thank the public for your generous support to help recover the incident. Second of all, this is also the holiday season. There's nothing better than starting the holiday season with a little bit more appreciation to the ones that you care. And for that reason, we also think this will be a very meaningful event to extend that gratitude towards our guests over here. And finally, talking about appreciation, many of you also know that although it's not largely covered by the mass media over here, there's a pretty huge fight going on in the Pacific Ocean, fighting over a little island. Get the Japanese and also Chinese and Taiwan people pretty angry about it. We also want to show people that we can still establish friendship beyond the political side of the struggle, hence the event. And I hope you enjoyed it. Something we have prepared took a lot of effort here for you. My partner Nulemi over here will also introduce some of our performers over here today and possibly go through some of the program with you. So let's actually give applause.
Okay. 本日はお忙しい中、お茶会に足をお運びくださいありがとうございます。皆様のお手伝いを務めさせていただきます愛で胸です。一昨年は東日本大震災のために地元の人々、諸外国の方々から日本への多大な援助をしていただきました。その感謝も込めて、今日は皆様にゆっくりとしたひとときを過ごしていただきたいと思います。 日本古来の良さである礼節、互いに譲り合い思いやる心や感謝し合う心を茶道を通じて皆さんに少しでも知っていただけたらと思います。茶道の原点にある一期一会の精神を伝えたいと、由美子笠楽和先生と関東永田雅子さんをお迎えいたしました。一瞬がきと思い、誰しも朝起きて必ず出会う一日に向かってその日を素直に受けることができることにつながります。子どもから大人へと成長し、家庭から学校など社会生活の場を広げて、いろいろな機会を通じて私たちは人生の可能性を広げています。そして今日、茶道という機会を与えられました。お茶会は決して閉じられた特別な世界ではなく、私たちを快く迎えてくれる良い機会となります。今世界が一つであるかのような便利な世の中に変貌しつつあります。情報通信は驚く速さで地球を網羅しました。そんな中でまず自分の立っている場所をしっかりと見つめ、心のゆとりをいかに保つことができるか、いかなる状況下にあっても慌てることなく、動じることなく、平静に心を保つか、これが茶道から学ぶ知恵です。現代の激しい移り変わりに対処できる新しい方法を感じて持って帰っていただければと思います。また生け花は木村マイクさん。マイクさんはダブルにある池坊スタジオ101に属しておられ、また和食レストラン木八のオーナーでもあられます。もし興味をお持ちの方はパンフレットを置いてありますのでお持ち帰りください。さらに日本の古来の楽器お琴の音色が皆様の気持ちを落ち着かせ、深く心に染み渡ります。お茶の一服の味わいの深さと調和をいたします。桜会のお琴の方々の演奏とともにお楽しみください。皆様にお茶会をより楽しんでいただけるように、ニューヨークにある裏千家本部にもご協力いただきまして DVD を頂戴いたしました。お手前中は静かに由美子先生の指示に従っていただきたいと思います。少し堅苦しいと思われるかもしれませんが、私たちもできるだけ皆様に気持ちよく接したいと思います。もう一度感謝の気持ちを込めて本当にありがとうございます。Thank you for coming to our cup of tea movement. We had the idea to help people communicate and show appreciation through our tea ceremony. Every culture has a custom for sharing tea and sharing time. The word tea is similar in many languages. Cha, tea, chai, hai. Everyone can relate to it. Just like we need water, we can all relate to our needs communication through the sharing tea. Today, we also will have Ikebana flower arrangement by Mike Kimura and Sakura Koto Group. Yumiko Pasarakuba will lead us through the tea ceremony while we listen to the peaceful photo music. I am Munemi Aiger. My friend is Chan Chon. And okay, and I invite you to enjoy the beautiful tea and communication.
Thank you.
Thank you.
To move forward, I have a few simple tips for our audience here to enjoy this even more. First of all, please keep your personal belongings underneath the seat, because later on you're going to have the opportunity to receive the matcha green tea and also the sweet presented to you. I want to make sure you have enough hands to enjoy that. Second of all, during the tea ceremony process, it's meant to be delivered in a very quiet, non-verbal type of communication, so you can use all your senses and your heart to experience the giving and the receiving ritual. So I'd like to also encourage you throughout the event, you have the opportunity to use your senses to experience the event instead of the conversation. Moving forward, I want to introduce our next program, which is the Ikebana demonstration over here. Mr. Mike Kimura-san has been a personal friend for quite a few years. For those of you who do not know him, I personally see him as one of the best artists. I would even call him a chef. He's an artist in Ohio. And not only he's the owner of the Kihachi restaurant, for those of you who have been there, you certainly know the caliber. The work that he does certainly accent into the food. And I've been very curious what makes his food so good. And I found out one of his secrets, probably because he practiced Ikebana too. So all his food actually does look and present it in such a way, have the essence of the Ikebana in it. many of you may be also wondering why there are so many works that put onto the work. A lot of people have the idea, when I study Ikebana to begin with, one of the common questions I have in my mind is also about if it's already perfect in nature, why are we putting so much man-made effort to present it, bend the flower and also the branch this way and that way. And as I studied a little bit more, I found out the philosophy of the Japanese Ikebana is, yes, nature is perfect in its own form. However, if we are trying to actually make a floral arrangement out from the nature, the effort is meant to focus on escalate the beauty together in harmony, which is a different form of perfection compared to the natural form it was. So this is actually the way to preserve a different level of the art than what's in the nature. So it certainly has its art into it.
Now he's got some carnations. And he's trying to bend that, and it's very easy to break that stem, so it requires a lot of practice.
Let's give you a big round of applause. green tea, particularly in the Japanese tea ceremony, they use the matcha, which is a very fine quality of the tea grounded by the stone and into the powder form. The tea itself has very high alkaline property, which is tend to cleanse your system a lot. That's why green tea is very healthy. And when it comes to green tea, probably nothing is healthier than the Japanese style of the matcha powder. So very often, that high alkaline type of property is very harsh for your stomach. So this is something all the tea lovers out there need to watch out for. If you have empty stomach, green tea is usually not recommended to drink. For example, you wake up in the morning, you want green tea. I personally would recommend try something that has a little bit more warm properties, such as black tea versus green tea, because it can be, the cleansing effect can be sometimes too harsh to your stomach. So having some sweet before you drink such a beverage actually help your digestive system from being the strong cleanse effect. That's my little scientific study for that. However, some of the symbols that you see here, you see the hostess was using the fabric, straighten it out at the very beginning, use that to the white also utensil. That particular movement in Japanese is called cleaning the dust. And this requires a little bit of the understanding of the Japanese tea ceremony philosophy. One of the main principles is called purity. And purity, it means everything happening in the tea room. You got to not just about the physical purity of the setup, but also the purity of your mind. So the symbol of straightening this fabric also shows the gesture. I'm actually cleaning out any type of dust, impurity in this tea room, and also my soul, ready to welcome the guest in the tea room. Another gesture that you saw was the straightening the water ladle. You have this movement there. The water ladle in that particular movement symbolized as a mirror. So before the hostess can serve the tea to the guest, they have to look at themselves in the mirror to make sure that the purity of the right mindset and the heart to welcome the guest. So that little gesture has a symbol of the purity as well. The third symbol, I think that's most obvious, is this turning the tea ball movement. May I have a tea ball, please? So I can actually show. We have 50 here for you, so that's deciding which one to use. A Japanese tea bowl, unlike the traditional English teacup, is actually a lot bigger. Obviously, you need to give it the room for the whisk to whisk out the powder into the water. The tea bowl, usually used in the tea ceremony, is usually designed by artisan potter and the raku potter. You know the meaning of it. And very often, in order to show the utmost respect to the guest, the hostess would pick something that has a significance for the occasion. Maybe that's a third generation of this legendary potter in Japan, or something has been carried on in the family for a long time. So when they actually present the tea to the guest, this turning movement is aimed to have the most beautiful pattern of the tea bowl, facing the guest, to show this is the special art piece I have prepared and selected for you. So that's also as a way of the hospitality for the guest. And when the guest receiving it, they also turn the tea bowl to appreciate it before they drink. Not just kind of goggling down like a big jar of German beer, but it's really meant to appreciate the heart that the hostess has prepared for them, including the beautiful piece of the chawan or the tea bowl before they drink it. And finally, another symbol that you notice would be the way that they drink has a few movements. Generally speaking, the amount of tea tend to get finished in about what they call specifically 3.5 sip. Well, where's that half sip coming from? You probably also noticed a little sound at the end. I know in the Western culture that is considered pretty bad dining manner. However, in the tea room, it's the highest compliment to show, since you can't really talk, this tea is yummy, you got to somehow make some type of sound to let the hostess know, I appreciate this tea you have prepared for us. So having that little sound is totally appropriate in the tea room. And later on, as we bring out the sweet and the tea, we'll have the opportunity for you to practice these symbols to make you feel you are really part of this tea room ritual experience. You actually turn the tea ball 2 times, okay? And in the tea room gesture, since you have people sitting right and left to you, let's practice a little ritual. The gesture would be to actually acknowledge the left and the people at your right and at your left to let them know, I'm going to take the tea now. Showing as a communal respect that I'm going to take the action. So before you drink, go ahead and actually do a little bit gesture of bowing to the right, to the left, and then lift up your tea bowl, appreciate the beauty of the artwork that the host has presented to you, and then let's try to drink it in about 3 sips and finish it with a good sip. We're recording it too, by the way. Beautiful. And then we come out and collect your tea bowl. When the person at the tray in front of you, also lift up your tea bowl, turn it counterclockwise this time. A couple times and put it back on the tray. Oh, I forgot a particular part. We talked about using the paper to wipe your finger, right? After you finish, use the finger to wipe the edge of the tea ball where you just finished drinking, and then actually clean up the finger on that piece of paper. That also shows the sign of the purity as well. Great, everybody is doing such a wonderful job. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and collect the tea bowl, please. Well, it has been a great honor to have you over here. I know in the Sunday afternoon you have many different choices how to spend your time. For you to decide to come to ZenCha to experience this tea ceremony, beautiful ikebana, and also the Koto music with us, it means a lot in this community, supporting the diversity of this culture. What we intend to do, if you enjoy this, is to turn this a possible, what we call the cup of tea movement. Not only limited to the Japanese culture, we are actually in the middle of the planning. Possibly next time we can feature, say, a Turkish tea style of the work, or even the Moroccan tea style, or something from India, to introduce people. Tea is not only diverse, but it's also very universal in different culture. And hopefully we'll be able to connect people with different nationality background to enjoy under one roof this simple thing called a cup of tea. A little bit of the marketing over here to extend our appreciation for you to having over here. ZenCha Tea Salon is offering a very unique opportunity, which is on the second page of your program. This is an exclusive tea party that we are featuring. Thinking about holiday season, it's definitely a lot of hustle and bustle. It's a gift buying, it's feeling a lot of the obligation. In our opinion, it should be the beautiful season of enjoying this giving and receiving, which we demonstrate in front of you through the tea ceremony. Therefore, for those of you who are interested in booking a tea party with us, please just actually leave your contact information. We are actually offering a significant discount to prepare this tea party for you. How we actually manage that is, all you need to do is write down the people that you like to invite. We'll be in charge of inviting them to let them know this is an extension of your appreciation from you. And the event, the tea party, involves up to eight items, 4 courses, and each course will actually pair with the tea to go with it. I think it's gonna be quite some fun to kick off the holiday season. At the end, both Munemi-san and I would like to actually thank you for being over here today.
どうもありがとうございました。ありがとうございます。
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Also, I would like to thank again, give a big thank you and appreciation to our performer here today, Mike Kimura-san, for the beautiful work. Our beautiful Koto Group ladies, Ohio Sakura Koto Group. And the tea ceremony performer, Yumiko Pasawakwa, and also the friends. And also, of course, a lot of people support this event by working so hard behind the scenes, all our volunteers and working staff. Thank you very much. For future, if you are interested in signing up for similar event, please make sure you leave your information, and we will love to contact you for our next major cultural event to have you included. Thank you very much.